Hey everyone, welcome to Wednesday and the Coffee Run Live, episode 231. Completely insane and awesome, and oh my gosh, we've been doing this for a while, right? So really excited to have you here and really excited to share my thinking with you guys today. So I was journaling, so I went to the gym today. I've been to the gym twice today actually. And I was sitting down, and what I typically do is I will get there early, I get my stuff set up in the class that I want to do, and then I go out and sit out in kind of like almost like a little waiting area, and I'll do my journaling. And I guess like one of the reasons that I'll do that is because I like to be out of my normal environment, and I do find that some things sort of like drop in and come in. But one of the things that I was journaling about today is around some decisions that I've made. And I guess like I was thinking about making decisions. I've been thinking about how a lot of people are motivated by fear, right? Excuse me. And I know that it hasn't just been me that has been motivated by fear at different points in time in my business journey, with my marketing, with all of the things that are going on in our worlds. A lot of the time we are motivated by fear to make a decision. And I was journaling today about how much of how much it's really like unfortunate really that this is the way that we're really kind of conditioned, or the way that we're marketed to make decisions and to make choices. I would much rather that we make choices and decisions from a place of empowerment, from a place of being like, you know what, I know that this is freaking aligned. I know that this is going to be so fucking amazing. I know, yeah, I'm a little bit scared, but I'm not doing this from a place of fear. So the fear that I've found for me personally, and for what I've talked with people about, has been that they'll often make a choice or a decision to do something because they're worried about missing out. They're worried about not learning this next thing for fear of things not working. They're worried or afraid that if they don't go and buy that 55-step funnel program, that they're not going to make any sales. That's another reason. That's a big reason actually why I bought from a mentor back in 2012. I was like, oh my God, like I'm really afraid that if I don't learn their way of doing things, I'm never going to freaking be successful. And then that led into, well, if I can't make this freaking work, I'm going to have to go and get a job. And then if I can't make it work, like what am I going to say to my friends? What am I going to say to my family? What am I going to say to my husband, who has allowed me the space to go and kind of explore all of this type of stuff? And so like this business building venture is what I meant by that. And so most of the time when we're faced with a decision, there's usually, not most of the time, but a lot of the time when we're faced with decisions, it's really important to just check in with yourself and make sure that you are not making choices and decisions based on fear. The fear of missing out, the fear of not having enough, the fear of not learning the thing, the latest tactic, the latest hack, the latest whatever. For me, one of the big motivators has been around in the past, has been around this fear of feeling alone, right? And the feeling of the fear of being alone isn't like I'm not alone in my journey. I've got my clients, I've got my family, and that's great. But I think part of it has been, I was thinking about this morning. It's like a big reason why I've invested with some mentors over the years has been because I've been afraid of doing this on my own, and that for whatever reason that maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I don't have enough willpower. Maybe I don't have enough grit. Maybe I don't have enough determination. Maybe I don't have enough resilience. Maybe I don't have enough within me to be able to recode, repattern, recalibrate, re-energize, and work through my stuff. And so in the past, I've relied on other people to kind of bolster me up. But a lot of the time, and maybe it's a 50-50 type thing, like if I'm thinking about the various different mentors that I've had and the different programs that I've had, It's almost like this fear of doing it on my own was part of the decision-making process. Now, it didn't turn out bad necessarily, right? And for the most part, it's turned out, pretty freaking good. I'm still here. But I guess instead of thinking, oh my gosh, this has only been in retrospect, right? That I kind of realized this. And the other part of that is looking at the positive side. It's like, I want to have somebody else's eyes looking at my stuff. I want to have external input into my business. I want someone else to be able to bounce stuff off, but not from a place of fear, not from a place of not knowing enough, not having enough support, or not knowing enough tactics or whatever else. Like I really want to be able to make choices and decisions based on my intuition, based on alignment, based on, this is the right person for me, based on where I'm going, but not worrying about or being in fear about not getting there on my own. Does that make sense? And I guess in my journal, I was thinking about the way that we kind of think about this, right? And the way that we're marketed to all the time. It's like, well, if you don't do this, you're going to be single forever. And if you don't do this, then you're never going to have enough money. And if you don't do this, then you're not going to be fit. If you don't do this, you're not going to be wealthy. And it's it's very lack mentality, right? Versus being abundance focused, being, I always make the right choices and I always make the right decisions and I'm always on the right path and the universe absolutely has my freaking back. And I know that I'll find a way forward, but I just want to have someone there with me, right? So really check in the next time that you're called upon to make a choice or a decision about anything in your world, whether it's about investing in a program, putting out a new offer, buying a new car. Maybe the fear of your car breaking down might be a legitimate reason to buy a new car or to get your car fixed, right? But just check in, particularly with these big life type decisions. Are you making choices and decisions based on abundance, based on prosperity, based on, positivity, based on your passions, based on, that kind of thinking? Or are you basing your decisions on lack? And if you're making your choices and decisions, and it might be to not invest because you're afraid of money or you're afraid of running out of money, then you need to do some work on that, right? Because you want to be making choices and decisions based on, actually, no, this is the best and the right decision for me. This is the right move forward. This is exactly what I need to do. If you're making choices and decisions based on the fear of not making more money, then, again, really do some work and investigate what's going on in there. Because to me, if we remove fear out of the equation and you really take some time to kind of sit with it and tap into your intuition and really put the emotions aside, put the FOMO aside, put all of that stuff aside, just go, what is the best and the right choice in the decision for me right now? If there was no fear, what would I be doing? And sometimes if there is no fear, the choice that you might make is to say thanks and no. And sometimes the choice and the decision that you'll make is thanks and yes, right? But you've just got to remove emotion, remove fear, because a lot of the time, what we're using, that fear is based on an assumption. The assumption is that shit ain't gonna work, right? The assumption is that you are if we're looking at it from a fear base, the assumption is that you're not good enough. The assumption is that you can't do it. The assumption is that you don't have it all within you. The assumption is based in lack and scarcity. And that is never a good place to make choices and decisions from. I mean, imagine meeting someone at a bar and going, oh my God, we have to get married because I'm afraid I'm not going to meet someone else. Fuck, who wants a relationship like that? Right? Whereas we don't want to make big life decisions or big choices or even small choices or small investments from this place of fear, from contraction, from oh my God, if I don't do this, things aren't going to work. Instead, I'm making this choice and then the decision because whilst I could probably work it out on my own, I don't want to do that anymore. right? Not from a place of worrying about being alone or feeling lonely or you know, having to go the hard yards without any input and support, but rather from that place of, you know what, it's really nice having people around me. It's really nice having someone lead. It's really nice having someone say, you know, you've got this, keep going. So just bear that in mind, because I think it's a really important thing. It's a really, really important thing to consider. And then I would journal on, well, once fear and emotion and everything else has been put aside, what choices and decisions am I making from a place of abundance, prosperity, positivity, knowing that I always make the right choices and the right decisions? Yeah. And then what would you do? What are you going to do next? Are you going to sign up for my 30-day challenge? You knew that I'd work it in somehow, or not. You know, you can message me and we can jam on it. That's all I'm going to say about it today. But really, I think the big part here is about, I've written a bunch of things down yesterday. That was terrible English, Nicola. I typed up some things yesterday following a journaling session, actually, and it's been really interesting because I feel like here's a great story. I feel like I've been kind of almost like blocked. I was chatting with a girlfriend of mine the other day saying that we jam back and forth on stuff and it's like she'll call me out on things and I'll call her out on things and we encourage and support and motivate and all that kind of jazz. But I was saying to her just a few days ago, actually, that I feel like I've been a bit creatively blocked. And that there's been no amazing, ideas, the way that things have flowed through, even, you know, last year, where I could sit and list off lists and lists of things that I would love to teach, that I would love to talk about, that I could do. And this year, like not even this year, but maybe it might even just be like this last week, I've just been kind of like, what are you going to talk about, Nicola? And it's like, oh man. And so I suppose like this talks into the fear, right? It's almost like the fear of never having another creative idea. And I'm pretty sure Elizabeth Gilbert did a TED talk on this. And it might have been in the that talk that she did about the genius in the wall. I'll find it and I'll post a link in the comments because it's a really amazing TED talk. And she talks about how authors, particularly best-selling authors or first-time best-selling authors, can be faced with this thing of like, what if I can't write another book that's as good as this first one? So this is following on from Eat, Pray, Love. Saying, you know, like, what if, like, I fear that the creativity is never going to come back, that the genius is never going to come back. And I suppose, like, somewhere I was kind of a little bit worried that, you know, maybe I'm never going to have another good idea. And so yesterday, I've been journaling, and I've got all of these things. And one of the things that came up, I actually wrote on being fearless and actually about being brave in the face of fear. Right, so it's interesting, it came out of my journal that I had to talk to you about this today. So the thing, I guess, like if we're really eyeballing that thing that we're really afraid of, you know, if you're afraid of, or if you're in like afraid, I'm going to use afraid and in fear of, you know, in the same kind of context. If you're afraid of never having another great idea, if you're worried that you're never going to have another brainwave, if you fear that you're never going to have another intuitive hit, and then you're making choices and decisions based on that assumption, then it's kind of like you know how in law cases they will say like the fruit of the poison tree, you know, it's kind of like that, right? We don't want to go and launch out these special offers based on the fear of people not buying from you ever again, right? Because that's assuming that people are never going to buy, and that we've kind of got to try and push our shit all out there in order to be able to make sales and in order to bring people in. So there you go. Be brave in the face of fear. And then put that aside, because when we face the fear and we're like, okay, what the fuck is really going on here? What am I really worried about? Am I really worried about losing face, being alone, not being good enough, not being loved, not fitting in, being judged, judging myself, things not working, or maybe even things being successful? You know, what are you really afraid of? Then you'll actually be able to face that fear and then put it aside and go, oh, I see you. Aren't you cute? You like pretend that you're kind of like patting it on the head. Oh, you cute little FOMO. Okay, like off you go outside. Go play with the other FOMOs out there. You know, be gone. Okay, what choice and decision am I going to make now that you've got this information? Now that you've got that clarity? Now that that cloud, that veil, that shroud of fear is gone, what choices and decisions are you going to make? Because then they're coming from a place of empowerment, from a place of knowledge, and from a place of abundance and prosperity, which is all mindset, right? Which is what everything in business boils down to. So that is us for today on the Coffee Run, episode 231. Can you believe it? So get out there, go be amazing, go and work through the stuff that you need to work through, but you know, with awareness is power, right? And with awareness is the next step then will roll out and make itself known to you so that you can then move forward. But just don't make decisions from a place of fear. All right, everybody, have a really great, fabulous, and amazing day. Get out there, go help some people, be awesome doing it. And remember that the world is ready for your brand of freaking awesome. I will see you all tomorrow. Farewell.